This is Pamela, and today for the design challenge, I'm going to be working on a video conference call application for kids called Zoom Kids. So the idea is to create a sub-brand under the application Zoom, which was widely used for education purposes during COVID-19. And I already have some work that I did beforehand. So I have the logo. I use Zoom's logo as the foundation and just made it targeted for kids using their color palette, but also combined with bright colors, giving our target audience for today is going to be focused on kids between 3 to 8. So kids that do not read, kids that only read sight words, and that have basic reading abilities. I also have the font styles. I'm using Zoom's font, and I also have the app icon. Today I'm using rainbows, candy art, picks and play as the inspiration. So thanks. So I decided to start on Procreate because I wanted to create loose illustrations, and also because of the speed it helps me illustrate faster with a pen. So I tried this. This is like a big quiet illustration, and it's all layered, different circles, shapes, icons for learning, idea, something I don't know, background shapes for the onboarding. I don't know. I've been exploring with a thumbs up icon too. I actually ran a small survey yesterday, and the thumbs up icon, it's well understood by kids, so I definitely want to use that. And the microphone, I'm not sure. I need to do some research if kids will understand, if it will mean the same that it does to us adults. So yeah, this is what I have. I'm super excited to transfer this into Figma. I'm gonna it's layered. I'm gonna export those as PNGs and go from there. Let's see. I'm excited to see how, if this works. To be honest. So yeah, this is what I have. So I have all the things that I created in Procreate on Figma now. I didn't use all of them, to be honest. I actually recreated the microphone icon because I didn't like what I did on Procreate, so just recreated it with the pen tool here on Figma. So I've been working on this animations. I'm using the graphics I did yesterday to convey different kits. I'm combining shapes created on Figma with the shapes that I did with the digital illustration tool. And I'm working on animation. I want to kind of convey like kids that are talking. So I'm working on the different frames that have kids with their open mouth, like mouth, working on that mouth movement. So here is where I'm at. And so the idea that I had is to create a video conference call application for kids. Unfortunately, during COVID-19, all the kids around the world found themselves using video conference calls applications that were not designed for them. So the idea is to create an application that considers their physical and cognitive skills to make design decisions based on those two aspects. So I did some work beforehand. I used Zoom because it was widely used for education and because it has the features that we need for distance learning. I use their color palette as inspiration, but it feels too corporate as we are seeing right now. So instead of using blue, I changed that to purple. I kept the orange and added teal and pink to play with those colors, create a couple of illustrations. And the logo is based on Zoom's logo. I just changed the shapes to make it feel like kiddo. Created the app icon, which I ended up using, and thought like they using rainbows and pizza and things that the kids like as inspiration for the UI. Because what I wanted is to focus on the personality of the app, because I was going to use a Zoom as a foundation for the UI. So focus on the personality aspect. Something interesting that I did is that I ran a quick survey on my Instagram, asking my friends to check with their kiddos if they understand the emojis we normally use on Zoom. And interesting, the thumbs up, they all understood what it meant. But the clap, for instance, some of them say, "Oh, that means celebration, excitement." But my son and another kid said something I cannot remember. But my son said, "Wash your hands." And it usually looks like you're washing your hands. I don't know if COVID did that to him, but this is an interesting fact, because knowing that helped me simplifying what Zoom has today in order to design for a kid. So I'm gonna jump into the prototype. Okay, hold on. So something that I did the entire morning was I used Procreate to do that's a iPad digital illustration tool, because I wanted to create loose strokes, illustrations, and so I actually really like that application for that, and to do it faster too. I know that you can do better stuff on Illustrator, but for the sake of time, I use Procreate. So this is can I restart this? How do you restart? So the idea here is that kids, the splash screens, the kids are talking. That's what I wanted to accomplish. And use the illustrations I did yesterday and tweak them to convey different kids, and use some of the illustrations that I did on Procreate for the background. So once you see the splash screen, this is the screen where the teacher is, the teacher as the host is the person letting kids in, right? So this is the first kid that joined. And in this scenario, the teacher is talking. So there is artwork showing that, that who's talking. And I kept the same navigation for the iPad. So I have these illustrations, something that I thought it was the share icon. It's kind of confusing even for me as an adult. It's very abstract. So I thought maybe bringing that physical experience when you go on the front and share with your peers. So using that Blackboard may be a good way to show it will be more understandable for the kid that's what it is. Of course, I'll be very curious to test these icons. I am still I don't know if kids will understand what the microphone is, if it means the same to us. So I've never designed an app for kids. So I'll be very curious to run that usability testing and see how kids react to this. But I also want to leverage intuitive interactions. So, most of it will be swiping. So that will be my plan once we develop this app. So once our kids join, this is how the layout will be. So here we see kids that are muted, kids that have the cam on, the cam off. And what I thought is that keeping the teacher always as the biggest one, since she's the host. So basically, even if it's another person, the host, and not only teachers, but in this case, the teacher being the host is always the one with the thumbnail is bigger than the other. So it stands out because that person is probably the one that is going to be talking. Of course, if you are not, then you can disable that on your side. So here it shows another screen where this kid is talking. And so it shows you, it's right now, it's really difficult to see who's talking on Zoom, and especially for kids. So having a way to call that out will be really interesting. And kids, like I said, I want to use a intuitive interaction. So it'll be a lot of swiping rather than tapping. And something also that I thought it'd be good to provide feedback. So let's say there is a kid that is talking a lot, and then the teacher mutes them. They don't know they've been muted.
So show them, hey, be quiet with an illustration. Probably they cannot read yet. So maybe an illustration, hey, be quiet. So the kid know he's being muted or he needs to be quiet if the teacher is making those actions. So on the reaction side too, if you want kids, like if you have 20 kids on Zoom and then you ask a question, hey, do you guys want to do this? Everybody's like, yeah, everybody's going to start screaming. So maybe leverage the reactions and show, hey, do you want thumbs up? So trigger that action for them to take it. And something else that I thought is that let's say you have a kid that needs to share something, and that kid doesn't understand the UI still. So finding a way to say, hey, you need to share, but not saying it, not trying to explain it, but the UI direct them with an animation. Hey, this is what you need to click. So the idea of this app is to empower kids to use this tool to have fun, but also to help teachers so to take that frustration away from the teacher not being able to help the child who is having trouble navigating this experience, but also the parent, because what we found during COVID-19 as parents is that we had to block that time to be with the kid because they didn't know how to use Zoom. So this is the idea. I really wanted to make it bright, and I definitely leverage what Zoom provides and actually simplified and took away what they may not use. For instance, the chat. Kids may not use it, so I actually took that away. I know I forgot an icon, or I didn't do it. I didn't have time. But there is also the participants where you can see everybody. I didn't work on that icon, I didn't have time. So it'd be nice to see if everyone is there, but I don't think kids will probably just swipe. So I really have fun. It's the first time that I do an application for kids, and I will be really curious to see, I'd be really curious to understand, what they think about something that with like the microphone, for instance. Will they understand that microphone means you can talk? And I thought maybe using another microphone icon, but then it probably means singing, right? Like, so yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I'm curious. I'm gonna start testing it with my nephews and my son. So